Hi, I'm Phil Aston, and this is Now Spinning Magazine. Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine, and welcome to the second episode of this very special series celebrating 10 years of Cats in Space. One of my favourite bands, one of the most exciting rock bands in the UK at the moment. This is across 6 episodes, and I'll be sitting down with founding members Steevi Bacon and Greg Hart to talk about each album in turn. Now, we've already done the first album, and this one from 2017 is Scarecrow, which is they're all fantastic albums. Those of you who are Cats fans out there will know that already. And those of you who are about to be Cats in Space fans will soon about to find out. Now, after the success of Too Many Gods, you must have felt like some momentum was beginning to build. Because, you didn't know what was going to happen with the first album, but by now you've got an idea that this is the path to follow. How did the ideas for Scarecrow start to take shape?
Try and do this concise. This is a tricky one. So after God's come out, and obviously we managed to get management.
Oh yeah,
We got an agent in Neil Warnock, and we had Steve Homer, who was about to work was at Live Nation, was going to AEG. So we had these like heavyweight people coming in, wanted to help the band.
Yeah.
So we had some investment come in. So for the first time, we thought, wow, we got a bit of wedge here to play with the second album. What was impressive was that we did 3 pressings of Too Many Gods by this point. So we had sold out the vinyl, sold out the first press at Cargo in a month, which we didn't know that was going to happen. So John Dryland, the legend that he is, said, can you repress Gods? He said, yeah, they're all gone. So we were selling it on our website, of course. So we'd repressed twice. So there was 3 pressings of Gods and the vinyls had gone. So it was all looking good. And so these guys came on board and Danny started to manage the band. And I remember where it was, when all these guys came on board, the first thing they said, half jokingly, was like, well, yeah, it's great, but, Gods has kind of done its thing now. Dare we ask how you're getting on with the second album? Halfway there, my friend. Really? He said, oh, yes. They said, we've got a lot of songs to get out here. They said, we ain't hanging around. So they were impressed by the fact that we were already in position. So Stevie and me started to formulate the second album that I said, I want it to be called Scarecrow because I got this song called Scarecrow still left over from Maritz that was a bridge too far for the AOR world because it had birds squawking on it and stuff. So the process started again. Half of the album we demoed at Yellowfish again, like we did the first album. Don't mess with the formula. But Yellowfish was going up for sale, which was gutting, and we were going to move to Echo Zoo in Eastbourne. So the very first early incarnations of some of the songs, which was September Rain and this weird Scarecrow thing going on, and Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and another song called Scars, and a song called Music Man that became 259, were all demoed down at Yellowfish still. So we were in good shape to do the album. And then we moved it to Echo Zoo to finish it off. And obviously, and Danny said, well, you've got some money to play with. How long do you need in the studio? And I went, how long's a piece of string? So I rung Steve. I said, this Echo Zoo place. He said, what's it like? I said, they got Mark Bolan's Sound City amp head down there. And there's a picture of you, isn't it? You're holding the thing up with your flip-flops on. So we rock up down to Eastbourne and went, oh, this is... And Mick Wilson, obviously, who was heavily involved now, he was fully on board with it all. He went, can't believe this. He said, there's something weird going on here. He said, I used to come to that studio in the 80s to do these weird compilation dance backing tracks for Strictly Come Dancing, of all things. He said, and 10cc store their gear. I went, no way. He said, yeah. He said, so we know Echo Zoo. I went, of course. How's that a thing? You know, so it became our home for quite a few months, and it was the only time at that point where we was fully allowed to just run wild in the studio and just try stuff, which is not a good thing, especially with Ian Capel and me. Like, we call Ian Lord Pointy Hat at this point. He'd owned this wizard status because of the stuff that he was getting out of. He went little Diddy toy pianos and the 1912 euphonium and all these weird instruments that Echoes, who had kettle drums, tubular bells, which tubular bells, love it. And we just literally just holed up in the studio and made the Scarecrow.
The desk down there?
The desk was the Trident desk that was used for Live and Dangerous was there.
Oh, wow.
And Scary Monsters, and it had done, it'd done another massive album.
Such a warm,
it was like legendary.
Monster.
And we thought, is that really it was Tony Visconti's desk that somehow worked its way from Canada to Echo Zoo. So...
And Mark Bolan's amp.
So the whole... And we blew up another Fender Rhodes there, I think. We were good at blowing up Fender Rhodes for some reason. Yeah. So the whole album... Sorry, this isn't very concise, but the whole album had this lovely freedom where we could say, let's make the album that we really... Because we know too many gods people like. We thought, we've got a bit of a fan base here. Let's really go for the album.
Did you feel like you were... kind of, I think you'd mentioned tearing up the rule book more when you did this one, because 100%. This was moving further away from the archetypal kind of rock stuff, wasn't it?
No clock watching, whereas normally you look at the clock going, we need to crack on, lads. And this was like, let's bang the piano with some spoons and see what it does. Oh, we like that. Now let's spin it backwards and see what we were just experimenting.
If it doesn't work, it's gone. If it sounds amazing, that's staying. So we still had that, the discipline that I mentioned on the previous episode. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it. Yeah, that sits through all the albums. That discipline's got to be there, otherwise it won't work.
Well, Steevi, the question I guess I'd like to ask you is that 2017 was also a huge year for gigs, wasn't it?
Yeah,
this was because in the first episode we talked about your gig at the Half Moon, but this is now you're supporting like big names in big arenas. Yeah. I mean, what was that like?
It's a difficult one.
I thought it might be.
It's a difficult one. When you're in work mode, you travel the world seeing all these lovely places. Oh, yeah, you've been to Rio, you've been to Switzerland. What was it like? Oh, I didn't look, because you're so focused on what you're doing.
Yeah.
I watched something on TV a little while ago, and somebody said, God, look at that, Sheffield City Hall. What a beautiful... Look at the vaulted ceiling, all the architecture. Mm-hmm. Steevi, you've played there, haven't you? And I said, I'm sure we did that with Thunder, didn't we? Sheffield City Hall. And I said, do you know what? All I saw was where my drum kit was going and the crowd and
your
dressing room. That was it. And catering.
And McDonald's.
I didn't see... but I didn't see... And it's that. So all these arenas and... You don't see them, Phil. You're just there to work.
But you were obviously scooping up fans in a far bigger way than you probably, if you'd have been playing like
the Half Moon.
Well, you had the opportunity to, I mean, nothing was a given. I mean, the Thunder tour. This was and in all our years of playing, for me particularly, these were the biggest support gigs I've ever done by far. So they're nervy, thinking we are playing to people that just stand there going, we ain't got a clue what this lot's all about. And we had them. And even, the guys in Thunder said, oh, you guys were smashing it. You really were scooping up a lot of fans without getting, into that side too much, because that's another conversation as we go on. But you've got to it's all right getting those fans on board that night in the heat of the moment. They go, yeah, we love Cats in Space. What a great band. You've got to keep them. The only way you keep them is to keep on at them and keep giving them new stuff, So we knew we could scoop fans up, but then we obviously did the Deep Purple and the Status Quo tour. We did Hyde Park with Phil Collins and Blondie. It's the same process. You think, there's a lot of people here, but you only really get them for the day. You've got to try and find a way of keeping them afterwards, haven't we?
Yes.
But you remember that time though we did the Deep Purple thing, and huge. Like you're doing the biggest. Enormodomes in the country, and I can't even remember the names of them. One was in Scotland, but the Hydro, whatever it was.
Hydro.
I'm not being blasé. I generally can't think off the top of my head what they were, but they were the Manchester arenas and stuff. And we went around the back of the whole setup, and you see how a stage on that level works. It's so big compared to what you're used to. Like you're used to like a 12-foot stage to the front, to the back wall, and there's your backdrop. We had that was taped off because Europe are going there, and then that was taped off. It goes up a step, and Deep Purple stuff's going there, and then you got this massive wall of video screens. And we went round the back, and we go, what's round the back? And there's all these like blokes with headsets on, and all these TV screens going. This is A level. This is like Premier League stuff. But the funny thing was, Ian Pace doesn't use a drum riser. He had a whole carpet like this on the floor with his drum kit on it, with all this massive production. And the funniest thing of all was this little black cloth thing in the middle of the stage, all back behind the yellow and black tape, and it's all, you can't go there, and it's all, it's like a little booth. It's like, what's in there? And old Dino goes, that's Ian's massage table. We had one of them when I was on tour with him. I said,
really?
What? He said, Ian Gillan has a massage table, and he goes off for a massage in between numbers.
Really?
When Don's doing a solo, or there's a drum bit going on, or Steve Morse is doing and he goes, has a little lie down.
See, exclusive, everybody.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's just great stories, isn't it?
And you adapted to playing to, this is big audiences. And also, I mean, obviously I am one of those people who is a Deep Purple fan, a Status Quo fan. I know what it's like when people go and see those bands. They go and see those bands. So who else is on is like, they're not really necessarily concerned because they've gone to see their headline band. I think there's something about older rock fans who are kind of very stuck sometimes.
Yes.
And I think there's something about the Cats in Space that actually pushes those.
Yeah.
Inquisitiveness.
There was a social interaction apparently on the Thunder tour that was happening. I won't say on Twitter and things like that, but there was a little rumour going around that don't sit in the bar tomorrow. Whoever's at wherever tomorrow night on the Thunder tour, don't sit in the bar while the crappy support band's on. Go and check them out. Go and check them out. You will not believe what you know. You've got to be seen. And the reports were that the venues were full from the go. From
when we went on.
From when we went on, it was full, and they stayed there ready for maybe they pop, half time for a beer, but it was packed from the minute the doors opened. Not 8 people in there and everyone's upstairs. Thunder
on the Thunder tour, wasn't it? On the Motorpoint Arena, we went, oh God, this is a big room to have half empty, and we go on, and someone came back and said, because we were filming that night, we were, again, very fortunate that Danny, being Danny, said, I've managed to get you 2 songs being filmed out of your set we can use. You went, oh, amazing. So we said,
pressure.
Right, we went, everybody, Too Many Gods, Mad at His Tea Party, do not make a mistake. The rest of it, do what you want. Get them right. So we were all geared up, and everyone's like, we're a bit nervous. And then literally, the minute before we go on, he comes around the back, which he normally would be out of the way, getting ready for his own gig. He came back and went, oh, just so you know, we're filming the whole of your set. I blagged that, and I went, oh no. He said, oh, and it's full out there.
Yeah, the rumour's out there.
And we looked, oh God. There's like 4,000 people out there, which was our biggest audience at that point. And we played the gig of our lives, didn't we? Yeah. We almost went out a little bit cocky, thinking, we'd have some of that. We'd get 4,000 people. And we actually did. And it's on film. It was a magical moment.
Cats in Any Space.
Cats in Any Space, absolutely. So Jupiter Calling, Scarecrow, Clown in Your Nightmare. It's an album that's bigger and bolder than the first one. One of the songs, Time Bomb, Steevi, you co-wrote, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that?
The demo was pretty much there, wasn't it, Greg? We got pretty.
Yeah, that was a late in the day song. That wasn't it?
I think it was just Greg said, "It's just not scanning right here and there, and the bridge was." So I just put a little bit of fairy dust into it, and you went, "This is all it needed," and that was it.
Well, he said, "I write lyrics," and at that point, he's a shrinking violet. He didn't say much. He's like, "No, you've got that all sorted out." I went, "Oh, okay." But I said, but something happened. He said, "Oh, I've got some words." I went, "What's this all about?" He said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Can you do this time bomb thing?" I said, "I'm not happy with some of it. It's all a bit me. It's like I want a different slant on this song." So Steevi went away and he came back and said, "How about this?" I went, "Brilliant." Again, I sang the rubbish demo, as I always do. And I don't even know how the song finished in the end, but we kind of smashed it together. And then Paul came in and did the vocal that he did. And it's like, oh, this is superb. And it was my little delve into trying to do something that was a little bit like City Boy. Yeah. So I love City Boy.
Yeah, great band.
And that, that kind of, there's a nod in Time Bomb, You Better Run for Your Life, which cropped up later on in Cats in Space World as well. Mm-hmm. But so that was the first time that kind of Steevi came on board with that. And I think we both agree it's been a staple in the live show. Then it got dropped for a long time, and then we brought it back. Mm-hmm. And Ricky, when he said, "Oh, Time Bomb, what a song to play live!" I said, "No, it's got a magic to it." So,
ding.
Yeah, and the what's that?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3. So we actually come in on the 7.
It's the elbow,
which is the right. Where's that?
Into the fast bit.
So the bell's on the 5.
But what is the bell though?
Can't say because we might have to.
Oh yeah. Somebody nicked the bell from a certain song that's a bit legendary.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I actually have a specific
we copied
bell on the kit. Yeah. That's got to be, if we're doing Time Bomb, that's got to be there. And it's, but yeah, it's
because
there's a gong in there as well, Phil. So that was my first ever.
Well, you're one of the founding members. You've obviously, as we go through this series, you obviously also sing now, and as we go through the Cats' career, you become more of a lyric writer, don't you?
Yeah.
Your name pops up more and more and more and more.
I think I'm 16 songs in now.
Yeah. And you're also...
I've got lazy.
For those of you that, like many fans of vinyl, read every single credit, you also do a lot of the digital artwork as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the mastermind behind all of it. He's a shrinking violet, don't
but don't forget, this is where Andy comes in now, our fabulous friend Andy Kitson. You can explain that.
Well, I've known Andy since quite a long time before that, and because obviously the art connection. And,
you can show that.
Yeah. He's far superior an artist to me. I wouldn't even dare pick up a brush next to Andy. But he stupidly messaged me one day, said, "Gregster, if ever you need any artwork done for your albums, I'd love to be involved." I went, "Be careful what you wish for." So he said, "What's your next album going to be called?" And I said, "Well, I can't give too much away, blah, blah, blah." And then we came up with this Scarecrow thing and the Raggedy Man and et cetera, et cetera. And Andy said, "Oh, I'd love to do it." And I said, "Well, give me some ideas and I'll tell Steevi and then we'll have a chat about it." And he came up with this beautiful concepts about the futuristic world with the spaceship. And we decided that on Too Many Gods, the cat pod was hovering in space, looking down, thinking, shall we go down there if we're liked? And if we don't, we'll just bugger off somewhere else. And then because the first album people liked it, we said, well, why don't we make the inquisitive cat pod land on Earth, but on the final days of Earth?
Yeah.
So the cat pod lands on Earth as an observer, and it crash lands into this field full of crows, and it sees the Raggedy Man.
The Scarecrow can't even scare crows. That's why the crows are now flying away.
Yeah.
That's how rubbish the
cat
Scarecrow
pod had
is.
To scare the things away.
Yeah, it's the rubbish Scarecrow.
That's the Raggedy Man that is an old politician, because Scarecrow is a political song.
Yeah.
But everybody thinks, or the cat fans think, the people that don't know us yet, but you will do now, won't understand that I'm a Crystal Palace fan. And everybody thinks I insisted that the rosette and the tie had to be Crystal Palace colours, which is a complete fallacy. Although I did say to Dave Ling to get a better review, to be fair. Yeah. But it's actually Labour and Conservative combined, because they're both as bad as each other.
He's neither.
There's a lot of depth to our artwork that we don't often give the secrets away, because it's down to the individual listener to make up their own concepts. Yeah. But this album does have a...
And there's another pod there that's coming in, but the shot that's inside the album is the shot from that pod that's in the air looking down at said Scarecrow from within. And these pods are all docked.
And they come in and reverse in.
Yeah.
You don't know this, Phil, do you? You're
I
learning
didn't know
stuff.
This. You see,
it's great.
This
So
is
that's
why
how
Cats in Space are
Andy gets
not like
them.
any other rock band. This is just the artwork.
We're just touching on this.
This is just the artwork.
We'll get on to that
Yeah.
on album 3. But basically, we've devised a plan where the spaceships dock back in reverse, back into the mothership. So what's the mothership? Well, we're not going to reveal that yet, but that is, the gatefold is the mothership's inside.
Yes.
And we said, we'll reveal that on the 3rd album. And Danny went, you're doing the 3rd album? So, yeah. These aren't short answers, Phil, are they?
It's absolutely perfect. I mean, how do you think this album advanced the Cats in Space band identity? Obviously, it advanced the artwork through to another solar system.
I think there are lower frequencies now in this album that weren't there before because of the pop bandwidth, the Radio 2 bandwidth, keeping it nice and tight and clean. And so again, that the rumbling and the stuff, it all starts to turn up in this.
We start getting a bit bombastic, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, September Rain is the Radio 2, The Scars is the Radio 2, and then you got Broken Wing, which was us going, we do like to be a bit bombastic, and everybody loved We've not done it live for yonks, but
Dino's song.
Dino's solo at the end of that is in one take. It's that was the first time we saw Dino do a one-take solo. He's done quite a few since. He's very good like that. But that was his one Angus Young 2-minute For Those About to Rock outro. And we went, how can you compare this to Scars with a harmonica intro? You know, it's like there's chalk and cheese going on, but still, as Stevie says, within the bandwidth of what Cats in Space is
We
about.
talked in the first episode about how it's all about the song and everything. Everybody in the band serves the song. But I think talking about Dean and doing his one-take solos and stuff, the way that the solos are taken in the band, they do serve the song.
Oh,
completely.
100%, yeah.
And that's it's another reason why I love the band is that, and I think sometimes when you've done a solo, which we'll come on to in later episodes, that the solo fits in almost lyrically. It's almost like...
it's a voice. It's another voice.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a voice.
I mean, I come from... my heroes, Gary Moore, Michael Schenker, Brian May. So we do lots of Brian May guitar harmonies because that's just what I like to do. Yeah. And they sound a bit like Boston, so thanks everybody for saying that. But the solo has to be a voice, and I just hear it as. And I remember Brian May saying somewhere that he'll do a solo before he doesn't play the guitar. He does a solo in his head, and when he's got it right, he then works it out on the guitar because it ends up being the same kind of pattern, and you fall down the same trough if you just try and do a solo on a guitar. So if you can hear the solo first, it doesn't matter how it's then played because it's melodic, and that's how I've always approached stuff like that. And again, Scarecrow was when we really started even more fine-tuning. Every sound had its place, pretty much. There's moments in Scarecrow, the track, where there's so much depth to the keyboards and the euphonium and these weird pianos that you can't really hear unless we take the vocals off, then you'll start to hear stuff like that. And the drums as well. We were thinking, if we're going to do drums this big, if we're going to start making drums do these massive fills, let's really treat each fill as its own thing. So it's not it's not like it's not static to do that. But when you like Steevi, you can sit there and you can just chuck ideas backwards and forwards, go do something else, do that, try that, keep on and he can do anything. I mean, he's an incredible drummer that you just go, why don't we explore every possibility for this drum fill, and then we'll do it again on the next drum fill, and then the next one. There's no marking time drums on any of our albums.
Would always work together on those fills, checking if we weren't, if he was doing a little lick, that's your bit. I remember once playing on going back to the first album on help me out here, 5 Minutes Celeb. He does a John Entwistle bit, and I remember playing over that once. He looked round as if, mate, what are you? And I thought, God, what have I just done? I just forgot where I was. I trod on one of Jeff's beautiful. It's a. So as I said, every part has got its space, and thou shalt not whittle over.
Yeah, because you all do it, don't you? So I know I've mentioned it's Dean and you playing your solos are very lyrical, and they very much fit in with the song and the lyrics. But it's not just guitars, it's the drums and the bass. Yes. All of you are part of the story of the the song?
Yeah, everything. Even counting in Mad Hatter's Tea Party, I look at Andy, I give him the 1, and it's up to him how quick he plays that staccato. Dick, 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 dick. Everyone's on Andy's fingers basically, and we don't use click tracks live. We don't use anything. You know, we are analog, if you like. So we've all got to make sure none of us whittle over each other's bits, because otherwise you'll miss the cue, or you know.
Also, there's a thing I've got a real bug about it, is that, you know, a lot of albums back in the day and even nowadays, you know, drums are done by a session drummer or programmed or whatever. But when you get a session drummer doing an album and they're doing it in 2 days and they're doing it, they're brilliant. They're top people. But I can hear they're marking time to get through the song. Yeah. So they're not doing anything out of their capabilities. They're just getting the song done and getting off, you know. So they might do a cheeky little badder into a chorus. And I'm thinking, there's nothing dynamic about that. So when Steevi, we do a thing and the chorus comes up, if he does a thing, it goes, Ian. I said, no, you can't do that. He said, that's marking time. You're just literally marking time. Why don't you, that's your little 3 beats to shine, make it count. So once we had that kind of like, well, okay, we're moving out of the remit, I said, the drums have to be like what Keith Moon would do, or what Roger Taylor, or these great drummers. If they had to give them a bar, mate, they make that bar count, and therefore it becomes a musical moment within the song, not just a drummer going 1, 2, 3, chorus. Like, it's no dynamic to that, you know. I like to hear someone make that their time to shine, you know.
But you're also emotionally attached to the songs because you write a lot of the lyrics. So as a drummer, you're also involved in the story. I think all of these things
it does help.
Gives you a different edge.
There's just to backpedal slightly on that. I meant to say this earlier, because we were working so tight within a 70s remit. I wanted the first album to be, it's got to be 70s. We listened to all the 70s albums, all these amazing albums, and thinking it's got to sound like John Miles, it's got to sound like City Boy, it's got to sound like Queen. Not so much Queen, because they really did have the production going nuts. But a lot of these albums, in retrospect, we're going, those drums are small. They're dry. They're done in a 16 track. That keyboard ain't big. You know, they had this lovely analog warmth to the finished gloss. But he said, you can't have your drums out. So when we did the first mixes of some of the early songs, and we played them in the car, and we were waiting for the chorus to punch in, they were a bit flat. I'm going, I don't know. If this was a 70s song, we'd go, yeah, but that's what it was. But because they're new songs, we didn't feel that thing. So we had to go back to the drawing board and say, we need to start hoying it up a bit. So Gods was the first time we hoyed it up a bit. Yeah. Scarecrow, the dials are starting to creak round a bit, and the drums are starting to become very much in the forefront, which drums weren't in the 70s, you know? So as time goes on, Steevi's drums become more and more integral to the music, you know? They're not just the drums.
Well, that I have 2 kits that I use predominantly. I have my Polite kit, which is a beautiful, small chrome, for you drummers out there, chrome.
It's not
Ludwig. It's a Ludwig chrome over maple kit. It's beautiful.
Okay.
But it's polite. It's polite, and again, I thought the remit for Too Many Gods was, we're a rock band, of course, but we need to rein it in. So I thought, well, I won't go silly and bring a 24-inch kick, 18-inch floors, and all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. So I turned up with that, and we got a great sound, and hurrah! And then when Greg said, we're going to hoy it up now, I like that word, hoy it up. So I thought, let's get the unpolite kit out, which is a 30-year-old Yamaha mahogany kit that Cozy Powell would have used, Matt Sorum, all the rock, loud rock guys.
Yeah.
So and weirdly, we've used that same kit since then. It just stomps the information. straight across your throat.
Stomps the information. I like that. That's good. That's better than hoy.
So what's your proudest memory, either of you, or both of you, from the Scarecrow era, whether it's on being on stage during this period, or a song from the album, or even the fan reactions? If you look back at this again for the lens of time, many. What is it that bubbles to the top?
I think for me that it's the whole nugget of the of that campaign, because from the minute we walked into the studio, and I always had this saying, I said, when we go into that studio, it's 1976 and nothing else. I don't want to see mobile phones, don't want to hear this, don't want to try and go into the zone. And Echo Zoo in the live rooms really do look like they're still from the 70s. And I just lost myself, and I literally thought, I'm actually going back in time, doing the album without looking at the clock, knowing that this is the second album, so there's a bit of pressure on it, but we were super confident, and we knew we had all these tours coming up. We just thought, we're living our best life here. We're making good memories. And I think that's the memory of the whole vibe. And also doing a song like Scars or September Rain, which were real proper pop songs.
Yeah.
But they just worked. And I thought I'd never be able to do songs like that, because I didn't think I'd ever find the people that could do them. And I thought, I've got, I'm with these guys. We're now a proper band, and you can throw anything at them, and they don't grumble. We don't do this. They understand the rules and regulations. This is it's a democracy to a point. But me and Steevi do kind of run the ship. Because we are the band financiers, if you like. So this is at this point, So everybody was so on board and so respectful, and when people are like that, you just bring out the best, and everybody shines because you give everybody the chance to shine. And that's what Scarecrow was the first time that happened, because it wasn't a studio project. This was a band.
That's
in
right.
the studio.
So the success of this album, did it shift your vision of where Cats were going to go next?
Yeah, we had no idea what was going to happen next, but definitely, I think the moment for me, knowing that we've got some legs here, was we got a call one day because this album was now handled by Danny Bose's management, so we stepped away. And I said this off air, but that album sleeve is slightly bigger than every other album, because it's the only album that we had done by different manufacturers, and for some reason it's a tiny bit bigger for you buffs out there. But Townsend, that were handling all of our merch at this point, we handed it all over for this one album. I got a call one day saying, we've got you racking in HMV, front racking. I said, what? He said, what do you mean? He said, you'll be front of store. I said, oh, nice. No, you don't understand how hard it is to get, Beyonce gets front of store, Taylor Swift gets front of store. Yeah. He said, Cats in Space are going front of store is highly recommended.
Wow.
So I've gone down to my nearest HMV store, which I think at the time would have been maybe Worthing or Guildford or something like that. And I remember walking in, and Scarecrow stared out. I thought, wow.
Did you take a picture? You must have done.
Do you know what? I didn't, but I got sent a picture by one of our guys that we know, and he's doing this, and he's taking a picture of him and his girlfriend in his HMV up in Manchester or whatever, doing the same thing. So we that's less egotistical than me putting a picture of me up.
True.
But that was a magic moment, seeing a rack of your albums and the CD highly recommended. And I thought we got some legs here.
Yeah. So, final question on Scarecrow. If you had to pick a track that represents Cats the most from this album.
Oh, and this one.
Yeah, what would you pick?
Well, we've done some acoustic songs, as you know. They're going to be exclusive to these shows.
And it's 2:59.
It's 2:59. We said, let's do the song that we've never done live. Let's do the song that's impossible to do live, and let's not even do it as a band. Let's do it with an acoustic guitar, some bongos and the piano. So we did it, which you're going to see as part of this show as an exclusive, and it just worked. So for that, 2:59 for me is the most compact piece of brilliance, which Mick Wilson had a huge hand in, because he managed to get it down to 2 minutes 59 seconds. And anybody out there that says no, it isn't, it clocks at 3 minutes, your counters are wrong. It ends at 2:59. The reverb makes it 3 minutes.
Mine has to be Scarecrow, the title track, because when we were rehearsing for the residency that we actually got a 5-week residency at the Borderline, which is unheard of these days for a rock band.
Yeah.
Obviously, funk bands, jazz, all that sort of world, but for a rock band to get a weekly residency, we couldn't believe it. Anyway, so we're rehearsing for this, and we're in Scarecrow. We're playing Scarecrow, which it's just
Hard.
so difficult. But it's you immerse yourself into it, and it takes you somewhere, and it's just everybody pulling, everybody moving. It's just incredible. Anyway, it gets to the solo part. For me, an incredible part, which features Dino.
Dino doing his solo.
And we're in it. We're all thunderous. All the harmonies have just finished, and we go straight into that. And I think, God, I can't get any better than this. And then suddenly I noticed Andy was waiting, wasn't he? It's okay to talk about this.
Well, the song went horribly wrong.
Andy stopped us.
And Dean stopped playing.
Dean was sitting on the sofa with his, I don't know.
His SG.
It was his SG. And it looked like he just nodded off mid solo. And I thought, I actually thought, it's like, oh God, this is such a boring solo to play. But I knew it wasn't. It's one of the greatest solos he does. And we realised he'd actually passed out.
Oh dear.
Right in the solo. Probably the joy and the vibe.
You didn't see, I actually saw that happen, but you saw the back end of that, didn't you?
So it got worse. We had to whiz Dean to hospital.
Can I just say, he fell, when he was playing the solo, he fell back. And luckily for him, there was into the sofa. So I've looked round, and Dino's going on the guitar, going ding, 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 gong, bong, dong, gong, doing, and his guitar just made this noise, and then he just went, and like so, I thought, he's fallen asleep.
Yeah,
he's fallen asleep rehearsing Scarecrow for our tour. Our tour is about to start the following week. Carry on.
So. He's come round and he thought, what the hell, where the hell am I? He actually looked around the room.
He was in a bad way.
Who the hell is, as you know, Dino, he's a world-toured rock star. He's travelled the world a billion times. So I just think maybe it was at that point, something was telling him, you need to get your health checked out a bit, mate. So anyway, we whizzed him to hospital, got him sorted. I think we finished. That was it. We were done for the day.
Well, he went out of the rehearsal room, and we'd made him go and sit in his car because he was belching. And I said, "You all right?" He went, "No, I don't feel very good." I went, he said, "You just fell asleep playing Scarecrow." So we were taking the mickey, and Andy Stewart, thank God, said, "Something is not right here." In Andy's way, something's not right. We need to get him checked. I said, "We can't, because we're not meant to be here." This was a Sunday, and the guy that owned the rehearsal studio wasn't meant to open on Sunday because he wasn't insured.
Oh, God.
Yes.
And he let us have the keys to go in there. And of all the times to have a near tragic accident was then. So Andy, I said, "We can't." He said, unbeknown to us, well, Steevi's going, "Dean's fallen asleep. Let's go and get him out of his car." We were kind of being a bit jovial, but thought maybe
it's not.
He's had a dodgy curry or something. And Andy Stewart had called an ambulance, and luckily they did, because within 10 minutes he's having stents put in him.
Saved Dino's
He had a massive heart attack.
So every time we played that song, we got the borderline back, didn't we?
We missed one show.
But we did them all. And every time we got to that solo, the hairs on my arms just stood up, and I'd yell, "Dino,
don't fall asleep!"
And he played.
He played blinder.
Yeah, and that just reminds me, Dino's here.
Yeah, it was
fabulous.
It was a scary moment, though. But, he was in hospital for 2 days in Brighton before he could go home. And he said, "What are you going to do about the first gig next week?" I said, "Don't worry about that." I said, "We'll cancel it."
Yeah.
Oh God! I said, but he had a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
Live in the rehearsal room on a Sunday doing Scarecrow. It's mad.
Yeah. Well, it could have been so much worse.
I know. But
it's a bit of it was almost a Spinal Tap thing in a funny sort of way. We have had a few Spinal Tap moments along the way, but that was scary. Yeah.
Well, that's a great question and story to end this episode on, isn't it?
He's safe and well.
But he's safe and well now.
Rocking.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Greg and Steevi, for episode 2, where we've looked at Scarecrow. The next one is going to be Day Trip to Narnia from 2019. So everyone, please make sure you check out the Cats in Space websites at catsinspace.co.uk. Tons of merch, all sorts of stuff, vinyl, CDs, hats, T-shirts.
Subscribe to Phil's channel.
Yes, and also check out Now Spinning magazine as well, either the website at nowspinning.co.uk, YouTube channel, or wherever you are on social media. so are we. And remember that music is the healer and the doctor. Keep spinning those discs, and I'll see you all on the next episode.
Yes, I think it's sit right down on it, I think, yeah. Are you still running?
Another day, another dollar to be earned. Could be happy, could be sad. I won't know until I step inside my world. Step inside my world. And pick a winner from the hat. The words and melodies can write themselves. They're only looking for the time. Hey DJ, just play it. Stop counting, don't fade it. You won't run out of time. It's only 2 minutes 59. Keep it simple, stupid, nothing clever, please. Nothing clever, please. A tune to whistle while you work. And I won't get that Monday morning feel. If it gets to number 1, it's okay. No solo, no coda, short intro, you won't run out of time. It's only 2 minutes 59. There's no way you'll crush the weather. It's okay, no solo, no coda, short intro, you won't run out of time. Hey DJ, just play it, stop counting, don't fade it. You won't run out of time. It's only 2 minutes 59. 2 minutes 59.
Yay!
Boom! The out of that one.
That was great.
Oh, that felt great.
Yeah.
That felt really good.
Nice one, Andy. Well, got red. Cut with the pressure.
Oh, that's in the set then.